Timothy Bradley, shut the fuck up. Salute, salute, salute. Bow. What's happening, man? This is Nocturnal Thoughts. Today's topic, today's title, Timothy Bradley, shut the fuck up. So I was listening to the Real Marlowe TV. Wow. He's talking about this video. Timothy Bradley did an interview and he was talking about Gervonta Tank Davis, calling him a piece of shit. So any man that put his hands on a woman is a piece of shit. Which, you know, any man that disagrees with that, come on. All men will agree that if another man put his hands on a woman, then he is a piece of shit. But that don't mean that we gotta apply that same thing to the situation with Gervonta Tank Davis when we don't have all the facts and evidence and the proof. You know what I'm saying? So, and then, so I'm gonna digress and I'm gonna come back to that. Then a little later on today, I was listening to D-Town Boxing. Bow, bow, bow. Somebody else too did a video. I was listening to that, but they was talking about, you know, Timothy Bradley talking shit about, you know, Errol Spence running from Terrence. He was talking about Errol Spence running from Terrence Bud Crawford because he going up to 154 and all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Timothy Bradley, man, shut the fuck up, man. You know what I'm saying? Just shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. My mom listened to my videos, so I forget. Mom, I apologize. I love you. I don't use profanity. It just came to my mind. I don't know. I don't use profanity when I talk around my mother out of respect. She a God-fearing Christian woman, and I forget she watches my videos. But you know what I'm saying? I don't even really speak like that anyway. I don't even like to use vulgar profanity. I don't like to use those words unless I'm using it as an exclamation point. You know what I'm saying? If I'm really trying to make my point, then I'm gonna use whatever words I want to use. So when I say this, I mean this. Timothy Bradley, shut the fuck up, because he's talking nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're talking about Terrence Bud Crawford in the Errol Spence situation, first of all, I don't even see why people still talking about that. Like, that fight is what it could have been. It's not what it could have been. In 2022, that fight had the ability to be the biggest fight of it. That shit is done now. You know what I'm saying? Like, move on. The whole boxing world should move on from that. But if you just want to look at it one more time, I'm gonna talk about it one more time. As far as Terrence Bud Crawford making that move to BLK Prime, that shit don't make the sense that people want to make it. If you a Terrence Bud Crawford fan, anybody thinking logically should know that move to BLK Prime to fight David Avanesian for the $10 million with BLK Prime, that wasn't the move. It was a good move. It was a move. It was a good move, but it wasn't the move that most people should know they should make when it comes to business, boxing, generational wealth, all that shit. Because it's like this, man. Money is relative, right? Depends on what you're working with. Depends on $1 million could change one person's life. You know what I'm saying? A person that never had nothing, $1 million can change their life for a period amount of time. If they don't know, if they're not educated financially, then they probably blow all that money, be just as quick and be right back in the same conditions. You know what I'm saying? Even worse. More money, more problems. Give somebody that's usually broke $1 million, a year later they probably be even more in the hole. But money is relative. People that play with big money, you know what I'm saying? People that deal with hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars, you know, $10 million ain't nothing but, you know what I'm saying, a drop in the bucket for them. You know, they take $10 million and throw it into an investment. If it come back and triple up and this, that, and the third. But anybody that got common sense and got a little bit of business savvy should know $10 million it's cool. But if you got the potential to make anything more than $10 million, that's better. Now I look at it like this. Terrence Bud Crawford knew that he would make more money either way fighting Errol Spence. He would make more than 10 million. No matter what, in his mind, he should know he would make more than $10 million fighting Errol Spence. Because now I put it like this. Say, for example, if you had the ability to guarantee make $10 million, guaranteed, then that's a smart move. And then you had the potential to make 15, potentially. Which one would you take? Behind door number one, you got a guaranteed $10 million. But behind door number two, you have the potential to make $15 million or not at all. You know what I'm saying? You can open up the door and there's nothing there. There's zero there. There's 5 million there. You anything between 0 to 15 million, but it's potential. Then smart person would choose door number A, door number one. If you smart, you can pretend to be dumb, right? A smart person would choose door number one because it's guaranteed $10 million, guaranteed. Now a gambling person, somebody that might like to take a risk, would choose door number two because they risk and they can make 15 million, but it's also a possibility they can make nothing, or they can make 5 million, or they can make 8 million. So guaranteed $10 million in that situation, it's smart to take the 10 million. But when you have door number one guaranteed $10 million, and then behind door number two, you have $10 million guaranteed, or 15, or 20, or 30, or 40, or 50, or 100 million, or whatever. But anything, you're going to get 10 million, but most likely you're going to get potentially to get 20, 25, 30. Then anybody would say, okay, behind door number one, there's $10 million guaranteed to fight a safe fight, David Ebenezer. Behind door number two, there's anything between starting at $10 million all the way up to a damn near, whatever. I would say at least 25, 30 million, 40 million. You know what I'm saying? But it's $10 million guaranteed still there, but I can make way more. Fighting a dangerous fight with Spence that everybody been wanting to see for 4 or 5 years. Then you would take door number two, because by your own words, you had one company, a name we shall not mention, of some hedge fund, one company come up and offer you 20 million for fighter. So they saying we got 20 or 25, you got 20 million for you, and we got 20 million for Errol Spence. So that automatically lets you know that you got at least one investor that's going to put up enough money for you to make 20 million. Then you had another hedge fund come up to you and say, look, I'm going to give both of y'all $20 million for this fight. So you got two investors. No diggity, no doubt. You got two investors. Whoever they is, they had never been mentioned. They only sound like they really deal with boxing. But two private hedge funds. Both of these hedge funds is offering you 20 million. So you know between those two, you can make 20 million. Not to mention what Al Heyman can make you, because Al Heyman telling you, nah, don't go that route. We ain't going that route. Nobody should be touching this fight because you putting a cap on yourself. You can make way more. So these two guys, these two hedge funds is telling you can make 20 million. This dude who's been doing boxing, who's made Floyd Money Mayweather hundreds of millions of dollars, who's making all these other, made Canelo all this. So this other dude, Al Heyman, is telling you, hey, you can make more than 20 million. So you know the fight is worth 20 million and more. So anybody that got common sense would say, I can fight today and make a guaranteed 10 million, or I can wait and fight in next month or next 2 months, or I can wait to fight this dude. Whenever we make this fight happen, then it's going to be worth 200 or 20 million or 50 million or 100 million dollars. That's common sense. You don't trip over dollars to pick up nickels. Anybody that even if Al Heyman was like, look, man, we only can get you about $15 million out of this fight. That's it. That's where the fight is going to get capped at. Al Heyman say, look, all you can make is $15 million. $5 million is a whole lot more money. So you take That's a lot of money you leave on the table. That's a whole lot of money. Between the difference between $10 million and $15 million, $5 million, that's a whole lot of money to leave on the table. So to take that $10 million and to leave, you know what I'm saying, damn near double that, guaranteed double that, because you got other two companies pretty much telling you they're going to give you 20. You got Al Hammond telling you he's going to be able to get you more. To take 10 million and to leave damn near 20, $30 million sitting out there. And now for Timothy Bradley to turn around and say, oh, Errol Spencer's running. Stop it, man. Shut the fuck up, man. Get the fuck out of here. You know you gonna. Timothy Bradley don't believe that shit. So anyways, turn around. And he talking about Gervonta Tank Davis. Piece of shit. Now, Easy Work Boxing. Easy Work Boxing was another video I was listening to. Matter of fact, I think he was the first one. I think Easy Work was the first video I watched when he was talking about Timothy Bradley going at Gervonta Tank Davis. And he made mention that Gervonta Tank Davis took shots at Timothy Bradley first, as far as his boxing. He said his boxing resume was trash, or his boxing resume was ass, or it was garbage, or whatever the case may be. So Timothy Bradley talking a little bit of shit about Gervonta Tank Davis. Go back and forth on some boxing. That's cool. That is what it is. But to say the man is a piece of shit, I think that's a little stretch for Timothy Bradley. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be judging. Like judge not unless you want to be judged. You know what I'm saying? He without sin cast the first stone type of a thing. Like nobody knows if this man is officially guilty of domestic violence. You just can't. To me, that's a stretch. That's a stretch. That's judging somebody. To me, you sound like you somebody judge, jury. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like that, man. I don't like you to sit there and put yourself in a position to point at somebody and say you guilty and you ain't shit, and you a woman beater, or you a rapist, or you this, or you this, or you that. Like, if you don't know, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't there. You not her, whoever his baby mama is, and you not him. Now, we all can stand on the fact that if a man is putting his hands on a woman, he ain't shit. I ain't got no sympathy or empathy for no man that can just put his hands on no woman. Not at all. I don't even really have a lot of sympathy for a big dude that can pick on a smaller dude. So a lot of that shit, Timothy Bradley be like a small man complex, in my opinion, when he be talking shit. But I'm just saying, that's common sense to say a man put his hands on a woman. We all know that's some lame shit, and that's some piece of shit type of shit. But to just put that on somebody that I don't know does it, then I'm the piece of shit if I do that. If I just say, you put your hands on a woman, you ain't shit. Then okay, look, if you got that, look, I put it like this. If I'm around something, as a grown man, if I'm around a dude, and in front of me, he putting his hands on a woman, and I feel like that ain't cool, first of all, I do mind my business, but I ain't gonna just sit there and let no man beat on no woman in front of me, right? Unless it's just some shit that totally ain't my business, then I'm getting it. Ain't my business, ain't my business. But if it's any woman that I care about, put it like that. If it's any woman that I care about, any woman that I know, that's in my circle, that's in my family, that's close enough to my circle and my family, ain't no man, any woman that's around me that I feel like I'm supposed to protect, whether it be, you know what I'm saying, through family or friendship, ain't no man gonna put their hands on that person in my presence. You feel what I'm saying? So, if Timothy Bradley feel that much of a way about Gervonta Tank Davis putting his hands on a woman, then you go do something about it. Get your ass out of retirement and try to fight him. Come back in the ring in shape, and then you fight Gervonta Tank Davis if you feel like he ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? But really, to me, why would you judge somebody on something that you don't have no evidence on? Like, whatever little altercation happened between him and his baby mama, that's their business. But it don't sound like to me he really, I mean, I don't know. There was a little say where she had like some kind of a little cut or laceration. But Tank is knocking dudes out. So if he hit a woman with all his force, she ain't gonna be able to talk. Her jaw gonna be completely broke. A little cut, I don't know what that could be from. More than she could be, that's what I'm saying. If you ain't there, you don't know. I put it like this: it's never cool for a man to put his hands on a woman, but a man do have the right to defend himself. So if this girl is just going at him, cat clawing him, and he push her off, and she go like, he trying to kill me, and she got a little bit of cut on her lip from her going crazy on him, stretching his shirt and wrapping his shirt and going acting crazy, and he like, man, get off me. He pushed her off, and then she get a little. That's a huge jump between saying that versus domestic violence. That's just like when your kid is acting bad and getting in trouble and not being obedient, and they putting themselves in a situation where they turn it into an out of control kid, and you spank them. There's a huge difference between you spanking your kid to discipline it and to understand what they're doing is wrong versus you beating your child and being a violent parent that's abusive to your child. People just can't blur that line and be like, oh, it's the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. So I wasn't there. He shouldn't just be putting his hands on a woman, but she's spitting on him. She putting his toothbrush and rubbing it in the feces, and she breaking stuff and throwing a fit and calling the police. And then she reneging on that whole thing right after that, saying, nah, I was way out of line. I was out of control. We was both. It was so. For Timothy Bradley to open up his mouth and to say what he said, I just felt like, dude, if you don't be throwing no fucking rocks when you sitting there living in the glass house. Like, we all know that you got a fake victory against Manny Pacquiao. Anybody that watched that Manny Pacquiao fight knows Timothy Bradley got a gifted victory. Usually you see Manny Pacquiao getting robbed, like when Manny Pacquiao got robbed by Jeff Horn, in his backyard. Timothy Bradley really got gifted a fight against Manny Pacquiao. It's like, dude, you really, really lost that fight. You know what I'm saying? And not even trying to be funny, you just lost that fight, and you got a gifted victory, and you knew that you lost that fight. So that's why you felt like the whole boxing world turned on you, saying that you got it, because you was acting like Apollo when he had that first fight against Rocky, and all his fans were sending Apollo hate mail and saying that, you lost that fight. So that was the same situation. How people criticized you for losing a fight that you felt like you was a gladiator and a warrior in, and maybe you feel like you didn't win, but you still feel like you wasn't getting fair criticism. You fought your whole heart out. You put it all on the line, you gave it your best try, and you came up short, but you got the victory, so you wanted to redeem even that. So how do you feel if you know you was getting accused of something that you really didn't do, and people just saying you ain't shit because you beat women? You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, if Tank is violent and he beating women, God gonna judge that man. You know what I'm saying? God gonna judge that man. But if he innocent of doing that, but you sitting there, trying to throw stones and kill this man, then you just as guilty. So put your stone down. Put your stones down. You know what I'm saying? Probably wasn't even throwing stones. It's like he was throwing Terrence Bud Crawford balls. Throwing his nutsack, because you're all on that man's nutsack ever since he beat you in sparring. And it don't make no sense, because Terrence Bud Crawford is the reason why we didn't get the fight between him and Errol Spence in the last couple of little, as the world turns, Young and the Restless, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, soap opera drama that continues on. You know what I'm saying? You can go back 5 years and say Errol Spence was saying side of the streets and easy route and fight Sean Porter. But if you look at presently, what just recently happened between Errol Spence beating and breaking down Yordenis Ugas and then stepping in the ring saying, I want to take this, I'm coming for your motherfucking belt, Terrence Bud Crawford. And Terrence Bud Crawford say, transparency, I'm finna go over here to BOK Prime and fight David Avenisia and grab me a quick little $10 million. That was Terrence Bud Crawford for not making this fight happen as of the present time. So get up off your little high horse. Stop judging people. Salute to everybody. I hope that Gervonta Tank Davis really is not putting his hands on women. Because if he is, God gonna judge him. But if he ain't, who the fuck am I to judge him? And why is you judging him? That's my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? I salute. Subscribe to the channel. If you made it for 20 minutes with me, man, subscribe to the channel. You did? Wow.